a Republican Party robust enough to slowly and carefully and rationally unwind the mixed economy that we find ourselves mired in right now. That might take more than my lifetime and maybe several generations. But if we were on that footing, I think that would be the best route for America to pursue, as opposed to walking blindly into the nightmare that we'll have when the national debt is finally up.
Okay, I have to remind you, we're doing political philosophy, not American politics. I agree with most of what you're saying, in as much as it corresponds to who we vote for and what we do with the specific policy problems that we have to face in the near future. But I wasn't addressing any of that. I regret, actually, given that you reveal yourself to be a student of the Austrian school, to have even brought up the medieval, the feudal example. I inadvertently, I should have done better, invited you to give me a lecture on why capitalism is better than feudal economics. Look, I know that. I know that free market capitalism is better than feudal economics. I also know that there's nothing justifiable about the birthright of the state and wealth that one doesn't work for, and that today's millionaires and billionaires are, for the most part, self-made, although there's some inheritance here and there. I'm aware of all of that. I wasn't defending a return to feudalism. Okay, put that out of the way. I also am not defending a mixed economy. Okay, I'm not participating in the capitalism versus socialism debate, which is, as I may have said more explicitly before, but did say implicitly, I reject this idea that either individual rights ought to take priority over collective rights, or that collective rights ought to take priority over individual rights. What I argue for is a balance, and that has nothing to do with economics, at least not immediately. Obviously, if one applies a balance of individual and collective rights to economic questions, that suggests that perhaps the mixed economy is best. But it's not at all my view. My view is that the state should not be involved in the economy as a buyer or a seller, except as is needed to govern. And so there's no reason why schools need to be run by the government, and so on, and so on, and so on. So I take a far more, let us say, libertarian view, without being one, on how to organize the economy. What I was talking about very explicitly and specifically was about whether, if the rich were not taxed to provide for the poor, not with a mixed economy, it could be simple redistribution, okay, which doesn't involve.
Are we in a holding pattern right now?
I was just getting for you. It could just be real. It could just be mere redistribution. And redistribution doesn't involve the state in the practice of the economy. It doesn't mean they have to run a company. It could be something turned into a tax credit, or a tax rate, or something to that effect. My question was just, if we don't do that, that is, if we don't collectively impose upon the rich to provide for the poor, then I think it's simply incorrect. As a prediction of the future, based on our understanding of human nature and our collective experience of history, that the rich will find it in their generosity to provide for the poor and to end poverty. Whereas we could do it by simply imposing. And so I believe we should impose. This is not a defense of feudal lords or sort of.
The imposition of wealth redistribution.
Roosevelt and Johnson. I am not talking about all of those things.
Right. I gather that from what you said, but you did point to Europe as an example as, having a rich class that didn't do anything for their peasants. But I won't harp on that. I understand, you've made a clarification, and it's a fair one, and I can abide that. Nevertheless, I still stand on the idea that government trying to force rich individuals to take care of the bottom of society it would be a nefarious innovation.
I didn't speak to coercion.
I'll be very quick here. I know you want to respond, so I'll be very quick here. But what I'm saying is that the capitalists, the billionaires, the innovators in a laissez-faire society are not